Hi folks, welcome to my channel, The Average Dermadoc. Let's begin the show. Photochemotherapy. From the name itself, we can derive definition. It is a type of photo light chemo using chemical photosensitizer. Here, photosensitizer is psoralen, and therapy means treating various skin diseases using psoralen plus UVA, which is nothing but PUVA. So both photochemotherapy and PUVA are same. Sources of UVA light is either sunlight or UVA chamber, which is man-made artificial chamber which emits only UVA light. Source of psoralen is 8-methoxypsoralen tablets, 5-methoxypsoralen or trimethylpsoralen tablets. Most commonly used and available is 8-methoxypsoralen or methoxylen. It is available in solution form also for topical application. Coming to mechanism of action, for both PUVA and narrow band UVB are almost similar. From here onwards, you can apply both the topics, anti-inflammatory and immunosuppression, mainly immunomodulatory effect by inhibiting ICAM1 epidermal dendritic cells, nothing but antigen presenting cells, and also decreasing the number of antigen presenting cells, leading to apoptosis of T cells. T cells are nothing but immune cells. Apoptosis is nothing but a natural process of cell death. It will stimulate the apoptosis of T cells, ultimately inhibiting immunity. It stimulates interleukin 10, prostaglandin E2, platelet activating factor, melanocyte stimulating hormone, ultimately leading to immunomodulatory effect of both narrowband UVB and PUVA. Another common mechanism of action is stimulating melanocyte proliferation. If it is T cell and mast cell, it will lead to apoptosis. If it is melanocyte, it will stimulate the melanocyte proliferation. And also, all steps of melanogenesis will be stimulated with these therapies. Coming to specific actions, narrowband UVB and PUVA. Direct DNA damage here in UVB, whereas in UVA we are also using psoralen, which will go and bind to DNA forming photoadducts. It is indirect DNA damage via photoadduction because of psoralen, and light also will have some effect on DNA. So damaged DNA will not allow proliferation of cell. Ultimately, it has to undergo apoptosis only. This process is a natural cell death process, but we are enhancing it, stimulating it, so it will take some time to show its effect. That's why multiple sessions are required in both PUVA or narrowband UVB. Not like photodynamic therapy, where killing of cells will occur very fast with the use of photosensitizer porphyrin. That's why very less sessions are okay with photodynamic therapy, but here multiple sessions, so much of follow-up is required. Then UVB also transform to cis form of urocanic acid, which is a mediator of immunosuppression. Here in PUVA, it reduces dermal collagen by stimulating metalloproteinase 1, which is nothing but collagenases, which degrades the collagen. It is in dermis. Then I already told you apoptosis of T cells and mast cells for PUVA, and mast cell degranulation also. Coming to types of PUVA, oral PUVA sol. Here this sol is solar light. Topical PUVA, turban PUVA, bathing suit PUVA, soak PUVA. These are all nothing but first taking psoralen, exposing the body to psoralen either via oral or topical, or via in bathtub, or soaking hands and foot, then exposing the same body to UVA after some time. These are all different methods of administration of PUVA. Coming to indications, there are multiple indications, various indications. I have consolidated some of them which we can easily remember. Psoriasis, vitiligo, we everyone know. Urticaria, atopic dermatitis, alopecia areata. And same alphabet P, prurigo, nodularis, pityriasis, lichenitis chronica, palmoplantar, pustulosis. Generalized lichen planus, generalized granuloma annulare, cutaneous graft versus host disease, cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, eczema, sclerosing disorders. All these are indications for both. We can apply it for PUVA, narrowband UVB, no problem. We can write for both. Here, wherever we are using light, absolute contraindication is common. Xeroderma pigmentosa, melanoma, porphyria, systemic lupus erythematosus. No need to study. In everywhere, wherever light is being used as therapy, we have to avoid in these patients. Specific to UVA, some relative contraindications are there. Pregnancy, liver abnormalities, children less than 12 years, and cataract. These are specific for UVA. That means these are not at all contraindications for UVB. UVB is somewhat safer than PUVA because in narrow band UVB, that narrowest band of wavelength is having very less potential of causing side effects. That's why you are using that narrowest band. Here in PUVA, so many side effects are there, somewhat not safer relatively compared to narrowband UVB. So adverse effects also will be more severe in PUVA. Mildest form will be there in narrowband UVB. Mild form of photoaging, photocarcinogenicity also very less in narrowband UVB. But here photoaging, photocarcinogenicity, PUVA keratosis, lentigens, and cataract also is common in PUVA. Why? Psoralens will not only get deposited in skin, it will also get deposited in lens and lead to its toxicity. Coming to acute side effects, psoralen related, nausea, vomiting, UVA light related, using common sense we can write erythema, pigmentary changes, pruritus, pain. I already told you in mechanism of action, immunosuppression. Wherever we are suppressing the immunity, there is a possibility of reactivation of HSV. No need to mug up. Unmasking or exacerbation of PMLE, SLE, BP, mycosis fungoides. In nail melanonychia, photoonycholysis. It is stimulating all steps of melanogenesis. In nail, it may cause melanonychia. In hair, hypertrichosis, folliculitis, acneiform eruptions, seborrheic dermatitis, and BP-like eruptions may also occur acutely. All these are mainly for PUVA. Narrowband is somewhat safe. You can write both the changes except psoralen related. No point of psoralen in narrowband UVB. There will be light. So generalizedly, all these can be written as adverse effects of narrowband UVB. Instructions are same. Wherever we are exposing the patient to light, we have to cover male genitalia and face if they are uninvolved. If we are treating them only, no need to cover them. Should use protective goggles. For what? To protect eyes from phototoxic effects and to prevent cataract. UVA protective goggles examples are B2 Torrid and Green 60. Same narrowband UVB specific wavelength blocking specs we have to use during therapy and for at least 12 hours if the patient is going out. For what? I already told you, psoralen will get accumulate and it will eliminate slowly. Until then, we have to be safe without exposing to sunlight. If we are going and getting exposed, we have to protect skin by sunscreens, protect eye by these protective goggles. For what? To prevent from psoralen induced phototoxic reaction. This headache is not there for narrowband UVB. During therapy, you will wear goggles. After therapy, you can go. No problem of psoralen related phototoxicity. Coming to different types of PUVA. First, oral PUVA or oral PUVA sol. We will give 10 mg capsules of 8-methoxypsoralen based on weight 0.6 to 0.8 mg per kg we can give and wait 2 hours after taking the tablet. For it to reach skin and accumulate well, then skin is exposed to UVA radiation. Here it is PUVA, so UVA radiation, common sense. If we take orally tablets and get exposed to UVA man-made chamber, it is called oral PUVA. If we get exposed to solar light, it is called PUVA sol. In PUVA, in a UVA chamber, at a dose of 2 to 3 joules per centimeter square with increments of 0.5 joule every week. This is based on skin type. Two types we can decide dosages. One is skin type based. There will be already fixed dosages for each type of skin. This is for Indian skin. Or we can calculate by ourselves based on minimal phototoxic dose. Whereas in PUVA sol, after taking tablet at home only, no need to come to hospital, patient has to get exposed under sunlight, particularly in between 9 to 11 am or afternoon 2:30 to 3:30 pm, where UVA radiation will be more, for about 4 minutes. For each session, they can increase 1 minute per week till a maximum of 30 minutes. Based on side effects, if they get erythema, they have to continue with 4 minutes only. If they are okay, they can increase 1 minute per week till a maximum of 30 minutes. Here in man-made UVA chambers, everything will be precise, perfect, controlled, precise, uniform, irradiation. So it will be safer for long term. Why? It is emitting only UVA. But it is expensive and patient has to come to hospital, obviously. Whereas in sunlight, not only UVA, visible light, UVB, various other lights, unnecessary exposure to side effects of those lights also. So irradiation is not uniform. Adverse effects of other rays, visible rays, infrared rays may occur. But only advantage is it is inexpensive. No need to travel to hospital, easy to administer at home also. For oral PUVA, for psoriasis, it will reduce in 20 to 25 sessions. Vitiligo, it will require 150 to 200 sessions. In narrowband UVB, it will resolve faster. I already told you, apoptosis of cells, immunomodulation, all these will not happen in a day. It is not killing like photodynamic therapy, multiple sessions. Here you can see not multiple, very large number of sessions. Coming to topical, oral PUVA sol. One is sunlight, one is UVA chamber. Coming to topical, I already told you, methoxysoralen, 8-methoxysoralen solution, 0.1%, 0.01%. In between solutions will apply on vitiligo patch if it is localized, less than 5% body surface area. This solution is painted. If it is cream or gel, we will use the word applied. Here it is solution. Using paint, we will brush the lesion of vitiligo, and after 30 minutes, the same patch is exposed to UVA. Whereas if we take oral tablets, minimum 2 hours you have to wait. It is topical only. Directly you are applying on skin. No need to wait that much time. Within 30 minutes, we can expose the patient to UVA chamber or sunlight, whatever it is. UVA light. But in books, they didn't mention like topical PUVA sol. Just they mentioned topical PUVA. So as of now, UVA chamber. Then PUVA. 8-methoxysoralen solution, 1%, will be diluted in 100 liters of water in a bathtub to achieve a concentration of 3.75 milligram per ml. To get this concentration, we are using this much of 8-methoxysoralen solution in this much of water. If you don't want to remember this much, just remember 3.75 mg per ml solution of 8-methoxysoralen in water. Bathtub, patient is immersed full body for 10 minutes, each in supine and prone position. To cover supine portion of the body and prone portion of the bodies, we will be asking patient to immerse in bathtub, followed by immediate exposure to UVA inside UVA chamber at the rate of 0.5 to 1 joule per centimeter square with increments of 0.5 joule. Starting with 0.5 joule, increments of 0.5 joule per week. With this, psoriasis will clear in 12 to 15 sessions, whereas in oral, 25. Here, 15. Simple. In bathtub, 100 liters of water, we will mix psoralen to achieve a concentration of 3.75 milligram per ml. Then we will ask the patient to immerse his body in supine 10 minutes, prone 10 minutes, then immediately exposing to UVA. How much radiation? Just 0.5 joule per centimeter square with increments of 0.5 joules only every week. For psoriasis, it is used, it will clear in faster than oral. Less systemic effects of psoralen also. Number of sessions are less. Psoralen related side effects will not be there because we are directly applying on the skin, and no waiting period also. We can immediately expose the patient to UVA chamber. Only thing is privacy problem. Patient has to remove dress and immerse himself in the tub. This is not done in our Indian setup. In Indian setup, we can do is bathing suit, PUVA. A bathing suit is dipped for 5 minutes and squeezed to remove excess water. Then patient wears it for 15 minutes with a raincoat over it. Why? To prevent evaporation, followed by immediate exposure to UVA. Here what is the concentration? Same. In bath, in tub, how much of methoxypsoralen and water if we mix to achieve a concentration of 3.75 mg per ml. At this concentration only, we will immerse a coat, and then patient has to wear the coat and then over it a raincoat for 15 minutes, then exposure to UVA light. Same, if we immerse a cotton cloth instead of suit, it is called turban PUVA. That cloth is also soaked for just 30 seconds, then squeezed and the patient head is wrapped like a turban for 5 minutes. This is repeated for 4 times. Like that, if you wear a turban like cotton cloth dipped in psoralen containing solution diluted in bucket of water, and then he is exposed to UVA radiation. This is useful for alopecia areata. Common sense. We are wrapping cotton cloth like a turban over scalp. It can be used for alopecia areata. Why to unnecessarily expose the patient to side effects of oral psoralen? We can do this simply covering the head with turban like cotton cloth and then exposing to UVA light. Same, if the patient is having palmoplantar eczema or pustulosis, we can soak hands and feet for 20 minutes, then exposing those hands and feet only in hand and feet UVA chamber. No need to get exposed to psoralen orally and then entire body will get psoralen, lens also will get psoralen accumulation. Then if we go, we can't go one day for out. If we go also, there are chance of cataract. All these side effects will be very less in topical, soak, bathing suit, bath suit, turban, because all these are just we are exposing the patient to psoralen topically. That too not by psoralen tablets, just with psoralen solution. Coming to narrowband UVB, how we are administering it. Here purposefully I have separated the letter B to memorize the wavelength for a lifetime. See, it is looking like a 3, then these two 1 and 1, 3 1 1 wavelength 2. Again in this B there is 3 1, again 3, no 1 here, 3 1 1 2, 3 1 3 wavelength. This narrowest band of wavelength only will make the patient to get exposed to get benefits. See here, using a narrow spectrum of UVB radiation, it is we are getting an advantage of reduced risk of malignancies. No need to use psoralen tablet as a photosensitizer, just having advantage of therapy. That's why this is considered as a standard treatment for generalized vitiligo. number of sessions needed also lesser than PUVA. Side effects also less. No need of photosensitizer. Just a narrow band of wavelength producing machine we want. Coming to methods of administration, there in PUVA, because of UVA, minimal phototoxic dose. Here, because of UVB, minimal erythema dose. All these words will come in sunscreen also. Minimal erythema dose based, we will start with 70%, and then if there is nothing, we will increase by 10 to 20%. If patient gets asymptomatic erythema, no symptoms, just asymptomatic erythema, we will wait for until it resolves, then we will increase 10 to 20%. In next session, if patient gets symptomatic erythema or red erythema, intense erythema, what symptoms? Anything, pain, edema, blister, we will stop until these lesions heal. Then we will restart with the same dose as last tolerated dose. And then if again no symptoms are there, we will increase by 10 to 20%. Otherwise, we will continue with the last tolerated dose only, based on minimal erythema dosage. Another one is fixed dosage based. No need to calculate what is minimal erythema dose. No need to see what is the skin type. Nothing needed. Already they fixed some dosage. That is least dosage with less phototoxic reaction, which will give more convenient way to execute. Initial lowest dose of 200 millijoules per centimeter square will give irrespective of skin type, irrespective of minimal erythema dose. Then skin type based. They have already calculated which skin type needs how much of dose. For Indian skin, they calculated 330 millijoules per centimeter square with increments of 45 millijoules per centimeter square, with a maximal acceptable dose of 1500 millijoules for face, 3000 for body. This is skin type based, and here this data is for Indian skin. One is fixed. Already they fixed lowest possible dose, then we can increase according to the response. Next, minimal erythema dose based. If erythema is coming or not, based on that, first we will give only 70% of minimal erythema dose. Next, skin type based. For what type of skin, how much to give, they already calculated and they have given some number, 330 millijoule per centimeter square. Whereas in PUVA, it is different for oral and for topical. Coming to frequency, I already told you, huge number of sessions will be required. Here see, number of exposures have no upper limit, as it is somewhat safer only based compared to PUVA, so no upper limit. Frequency is thrice weekly. After stability comes, patient is improving, then no, we have to taper the sessions. No, don't ever abruptly stop therapy. Taper by twice weekly. Initially thrice weekly you are keeping, now twice weekly for a month, and then once a week for 1 month, then alternate weeks for 3 to 4 months. Giving every other week alternatively for 3 to 4 months, then only we have to finally stop. This is the schedule how to taper narrowband UVB. Coming to combinations. While the patient is on narrowband UVB, you can combine it with topicals and systemic. Topical tazarotene, calcipotriol, ditranol and steroids. In PUVA, already psoralen is a integral part. Here we can combine with this, or else just narrowband UVB also we can execute. Here systemic methotrexate, etanercept and acitretin. Systemic drugs, these can be used while the patient is on narrowband UVB, no problem. Topicals, this can be used as a combination. No need to stop narrowband UVB, no need to stop this. You can use combination to get advantage of increased effect, therapeutic effect. Remember the channel name, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Hasta la vista. Dasvidaniya.